Whoa, whoa. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Uninformed Fan. We are live here in Fort Myers, Florida, with the wonderful Dave Thomas Paradise of Fun. Well, congratulations to my co-host Jeffrey, who just had his third child, as I called it on Saturday. Saturday, baby. Called it. We're here. We're live on Monday, ready to break down a few topics. Jeffrey, I know we got to be on cloud nine right now.
We're doing good, man. Got back home. Everything was smooth with the delivery and the baby, and baby's looking great, happy and healthy. It's pretty much all that matters when you're a parent. But you know, my kids, the way that they've received baby Liam, and the love and the outpouring of affection from everybody, just big thank you to everybody. But it's good to be home. The hospital is only good for so long. After that, you got to get out of Dodge.
How was the food?
The food was fine, honestly. I think this morning me and my wife split a little ham, cheese, and tomato omelet with cheddar cheese, a little blueberry muffin on the side, two pancakes, a little turkey sausage, couple hash browns as well too. So that was the morning. Other than that, I mean, one of her best friends, Angelina, brought her a bunch of sushi last night to be able to snack on. So baby Liam decided to grace us with his presence at 11:14. So just came in at the nick of time on Saturday. Everything was smooth. Mom didn't have to push for too long. But man, it's crazy when you see your significant other give birth to a child that is yours for the third time. But every time it just makes you know how big of pussies we really are as men, and how amazing they are. So shout out to Amanda. She was great. She was a trooper the whole time. Truly my partner in life, and it's been amazing to start to raise the two, and it'll be fun to raise this third as well too. So
Definitely. And with that being said, obviously, the childbirth is one incredible. Watching like Outlander and stuff like that, and like how they used to in the old days, bro. And every time I look over at Bianca, I'm like, "You ready?" It's like that. But I will say that as far as the men being able to accomplish or the comparable, pretty big move, though. Like,
yeah, you think so?
yeah, I know what that felt like. Looking down at being like, "Whoa!" I can imagine a child. I mean, that's
I can tell you, man, the contractions are crazy, and it's crazy to watch because you can see the contractions come in and come out, and the little, and I'm telling her, I'm like, all right, here comes one, you're all right, we got this, blah blah blah. But then when you're in the moment, even with the epidural and everything like that, it's man, it's crazy, it's really crazy. So, but he came in, he slept all day, yesterday pretty much, woke up around 7. And so we were a little nervous because they say that they sleep everything off. We got a little snip done as well too, so they're a little groggy from that as well. So when they go through that, they're like, look, he's gonna sleep all day, but when he wakes up, he's gonna be ready to go. So he woke up around 7. It was up. They gave him a bath around 12:30 or so, and then around 1:50, Amanda fed him, and from my lips to God's ears, the kid slept till about 7:15 this morning. First night alive. So pretty
That's all
incredible.
you could really hope for.
Incredible. So we were excited to get back home. We've had a few people stop by, say hello and visit, and show some love. So we appreciate that as well too. And it'll be a week of adaptation for our family, and getting everything taken care of, and just enjoying the new addition to the family. So very, very blessed.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank you,
congratulations to Amanda and everybody at the family. I know that I'm sure the child's got much love and support around them.
There's a lot of us.
Blossom into the beautiful child that only you could create.
He came in. He was 8 pounds 12 ounces at birth, and 21 and 3/4 inches. So big kid. They say he's got some big hands, some big feet on him too. So hopefully,
means big batting gloves and big shoes, right?
I don't know, man. Everybody's saying linebacker. I don't really need my kid sticking his head in there. Let's make him a lefty pitcher. Teach him how to throw lefty, throw a few days a week, play golf the other days with dad. That's about it.
Golf, bro. Golf. I mean, golf. Golf, right? I mean, gotta be golf. I mean, that's got to be the juicy sport. I mean, not bad about golf. Good about golf. is that you have to earn your money. You're not just going to get paid, just
Yeah,
to be out there.
and they
Versus some of the
guarantee
other
you.
sports, but yeah, you definitely gotta make it up. But we do have a few topics to get into over the weekend.
Yeah,
So some interesting aspects of what was going on. We did have the Silverstone F1 race in
I watched it.
merry old England. And I was asking my cousin, I go, "Do you think they scheduled this around the 4th of July and everything?"
Well, why? Why would they want to? You know,
Exactly.
we
Why is it in England on the 4th of July weekend?
Sophie used to always say something to me on 4th of July week, and I always found it funny. And she said, "Go ahead and have fun celebrating National Treason Day." And she's shout out to Sophie. She just celebrated a birthday actually. God bless her. Was a great part of the boathouse when she was there as well too, and has moved on to brighter things for herself. But it always hit me a little bit, and it made me laugh. But man, those people put their necks on the line for our freedom and our prosperity for this country. So shout out to them. But it is funny to think they always have Silverstone every week of the 4th, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a little weird, but whatever. Once again, Checo Perez doesn't make it out of qualifying. Once again, I do believe this is 5th in a row. Like we talked about, Checo Perez just not being able to perform with the Red Bull car as Max Verstappen has. And once again, who takes the field? Checo starts out in 15th only because Valerie Bottas has to switch as he could not get his car off the track. Because I watched obviously the F1 and I listened to Checo's radio comms throughout the whole time. And, I'm talking to my cousin throughout the match, and I'm like, I just don't understand because we know that the Red Bull car has the power to be able to overtake these cars, and it has the straight line speed. We've seen it out of Max Verstappen time and time again. But it just feels like Checo just doesn't want to push the car, and I don't know if that's what we're talking about, tire management. Now, there was a couple times, I do believe, towards the end of the race, where I did hear them come across the radio and say tire management, and then they said, "All right, you're good to go," and then he just started, flying past people. But I mean, the bigger issue is Checo has to get qualifying down. I mean, the 6th place finish coming up from 15th is obviously a great move. But I'm telling you right now, if Max Verstappen started 15th, he'd be in the talk to lead the race. There would be no question about it. The Red Bull team's definitely got a little things going on as far as exactly what they're going to do with this, but Checo has to get it out. Max Verstappen had a great race again. We did get a little bit of drama finally, especially off the first turn with the McLarens and Lando Norris finally showing up to F1 in 2023, which was great for everyone. And to see the Brits in the top 2 out of the 3, it was definitely electric for the crowd. And that crowd was loud. Did you say you did get to watch this one?
I watched a little bit. I guess it was actually on replay, but you're in the hospital. You're flipping through channels. I was very blessed. The first day that we got there, actually, we had to wait a long time, right, for the baby and for everything to kick in. She was being induced. And I just so happened to get lucky. There was an Oceans marathon on, so I had 11, 12, and 13, 3 in a row. Then baby came. But when we moved to our actual room, I flicked it on and I saw a little bit of it. And I saw the restart happened pretty much. What was the controversy with the pace car that was going on as well too? I thought I saw something with that.
I don't know if there was necessarily a controversy with the pace car. However, towards the end, I do believe it was Magnussen whose car caught on fire and was left out on the track, which did bring out the pace car. There was a little bit as far as whether the pace car could have cut in before doing one more lap towards the end, which obviously cut time away from cut time away from everybody. But that would have been the only thing that I did notice as far as the pace car and anything that it would have cost.
Yeah, I thought there was somebody talking about it on Twitter. There's a little controversy with the pace car or whatever, but it looked fun. I was happy. I was happy. Obviously Lewis Hamilton's had a tough year, but I was just happy to see him show up, get a podium, if you will, to be able to be out there. So shout out to Lewis Hamilton. This is like his racetrack. I know I said I thought he could win and come out, and but third's a good showing for what Mercedes has been doing this year as well too. So we'll take that.
I mean, it's definitely a step up for what they performed out there on the track. And I'm telling you, the only person that's beaten Max Verstappen this year is Max Verstappen. I mean, unless he wrecks or something, we've seen him start 15th, we've seen him start 12th. It doesn't matter. He's won 6 in a row. The Red Bull team just completely dominates. But again, the big story to me was McLaren. McLaren, who was, just finished at the bottom of every single race, all of a sudden comes out and just nails them. Now, they didn't get the 2-3 finish, which we all thought, that they would. It was definitely looking like that was going to happen. They get a 2-4. And then with the points they got this week just bumped them up in the cup standing. So that's another great short for them as well. But there was an interesting strategy that we were talking about. A lot of the teams that you saw went mediums and they pushed it very, very far and they finished on the slicks, which is the soft tires, which would give it the most speed going into the race. Well, the McLarens went from medium to hards. And we were really questioning about this, me and my cousin, when we were talking about this, because we were like, everyone else is going to the softs. Softs are going to give you the more traction, more traction. And then the announcer came on and they talked about how the McLarens run their tires hot. And, our tires have to get hot. It usually takes 3 or 4 laps in order to get them going. And we saw right out of the gate with Lewis Hamilton, wow, this McLaren on the hards is so quick. I can't get around. And he never did go around anymore. Shout out to the McLaren team. Kudos to you guys. This is one of the oldest tracks, one of the tracks that you guys have been around for quite some time. I did find one thing that I feel like I have to say this, right? When you think about McLaren, right? You think of the McLaren 720s, you think of badass supercars, right? These $1 million cars. McLaren runs a Mercedes engine in F1. And I'm sorry, man. If I owned, I would never buy a McLaren based on that right there. I would never. You're McLaren. You sell $1 million cars. You're using a Mercedes engine in your F1 car? Come on, man.
McLaren was like a subsidiary of Mercedes, though. No,
I don't know. No, maybe they are.
I think McLaren's a subsidiary of Mercedes.
Unfortunately, our producer is weren't due to our later arrival time, so we can't have anything brought.
Yeah, it is what it is.
On
Do you think so? And this is the interesting thing about F1 too, and we obviously we led with it, but so Lewis Hamilton dominated for so long. Now it's Max Verstappen. It really makes it a total team effort, right? Because you got the cars, you got the pit stops, you got everything. When you talk about driver to driver, 1-to-1, same car, same setup, same everything. Do you think that Max Verstappen is the best driver in F1 right now if all the cars are completely even?
Hands down, it's not even close.
Really?
I do. I do. If you just look at the way, because, okay, so you take the Red Bull car, right? We all know the Red Bull cars are far beyond the rest of them, but they're far beyond in the straight line speed, especially when you get DRS. And we're talking about 8 miles per hour, I think, whatever it is, 15 kilometers per hour. That's where the Red Bull has the advantage. But when you start to break down the chicane times, right, and the left-right turns, the entries and exits, all this, Max Verstappen is absolutely nailing every single one of these, and it's not even close. It's not even close. When you looked at, I think that was they had him versus I can't believe. I think maybe it was Alonso at the time. They had it up like in the tracks of like who was. And Max had all of the turns. Was ahead of Alonso, and Alonso was actually ahead in the straightaway. It's pretty crazy, man. And I think, like you said, if you look at that car, right, and we're talking about Max Verstappen as a driver, Pecco, for all intents and purposes, has the exact same car as Max Verstappen. It has missed Q2, not Q3, Q2 5 straight times. Has not made it to the. I mean, my cousin brought it up, and you can say anything. Yes, there was rain. Yes, he sat at the front of the line for a little bit long, and yes, he wasn't able to get the driest track on the last qualifying lap. But as I told him, he went out there and ran 2 qualifying laps with absolute perfect conditions and couldn't get. So I don't know, but once again, great race by Max Verstappen. Hats off to him. But kudos to the McLaren. Kudos to you guys. I think that everyone had him written off. At least I did. At the beginning of this year, and definitely for the performance that we saw. So shout out to Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, you guys are coming through. And of course, Lewis Hamilton, as you said, Jeffrey, this is his home track. This is his home. And to see Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton finish 2-3, both great drivers, great showing out of there, and great course. Great. It was a great race. It was a great race.
You just kind of know that Hamilton's kind of on his way out as well, too. So it's like you kind of
maybe. We don't know that, but
I don't want to say on his way out, but I think he's more toward the end of his career, right? Like his dominance and his reign is probably not not going to happen again. We can say that confidently. So just happy for him. Good for him.
Yeah, good for those guys. They're really, I mean, he's hanging out with Shakira. I mean, he probably needs a W in his life, you know?
Who, Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah. He probably needs a W in his life, you know? Nothing's really going for him right now.
What do you think about the Tom Brady Kim K talk? You know, you mentioned Shakira. Did you see this? So I obviously
saw Portnoy.
Michael Rubin has this huge party. Portnoy's not invited to this party, right?
I do.
The story behind that about how he asked for Silvana. So he was
invited. He wanted to bring his family.
Yeah, he wanted to bring her family. A couple of people from her family that wanted to go, and Michael Rubin's like, listen, you're lucky you're on the list anyway. Never mind, you're not invited anymore. But if you missed it over the weekend or over the 4th star-studded party, obviously Tom Brady is out there hanging out on the 4th of July at Michael Rubin's house, and there's rumored things that him and Kim K were chatting it up during the day, and then at night dancing the night away and having a good time. I mean, any thoughts?
You know what? Before I give my thoughts here, Jeffrey, what are your thoughts on this?
Go Tom, go. I want to say this. I couldn't be happier for the guy personally. Say what you want about the Kardashians, obviously, however they've made their millions, whatever effect they have in society, so on and so forth. The arguments are endless on both sides of the aisle. But I will say this. Kim, very beautiful woman, and good for Tom. I feel like this is a situation where they both are just adding a notch to their belt. Like a mutual, like I don't think like Tom and Kim will actually be together, after it's all said and done. But I do think this is like, hey, why not, see what happens. And listen, Kim's a beautiful woman, so go Tom, go.
This could sound however it's going to sound most of the same way. If he's hitting that woman, yeah. But if you're going to date that woman, no. No.
Well, listen, from Kim's perspective too, this is very different in her realm of flavors. She usually goes to Baskin Robbins.
The only upside to this. Kim Kardashian has the only upside to this.
Why?
Do you really think that this inflates Tom Brady? This woman's been with how many celebrities? How many people has she been with?
Do you think Tom's worried about it? Maybe it's just curiosity. Maybe it's just a little curiosity.
And that's why I'm saying if it's about hitting and pushing it, whatever. But I don't
see what the dipstick feels like. A little oil check. Make sure everything is the viscosity is okay. And then we keep it moving.
That's what I'm saying.
Go Tom, go.
That's
go
fine.
Tom, go.
We're keeping it.
It's a very discreet man. Very discreet.
Very interesting things that happen at this white party.
What'd you hear?
Just things.
Just throw it out there. We're speculating, wildly speculating right now about Kim Kardashian and Tom Brady. Might as well just go ahead.
That is actually material.
It was reported by TMZ, but
Yeah, I'm not getting into it, but the whole thing, man.
Well, we did see. I did see something about obviously a lot of different people over there and everything going on. James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, a lot of NBA people invited to this party. And for, the reports, James Harden had asked for a trade to get out of Philly. And Embiid said that when he heard it, he did an interview at Summer League, said when he heard it, he was very disappointed. He's very hurt by it as well, too. Had a chance to talk to James at the party. He thinks they can hopefully work something out going forward, but he does understand that it's a business. So, while we say whatever we want to say about this party, there's also networking. There's also storylines brought to light.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Me in the room, but
to be a fly on the wall over there, you know what I mean?
Do I really want to be in the room with, baby blood drinkers? I don't know. But yes, they are the people that rule the world. I mean, if you really want to go for that.
Lots of powerful people there. Did you get a chance to watch any NBA Summer League?
Absolutely not.
This weekend?
Absolutely not.
I had a chance to watch it.
I was so excited for the NBA season to be over. No, even when we talk about the NBA draft, I was like, is this shit not over yet? Now we're just going to go straight into Summer League.
And then free agency.
You are not
Summer League and free agency.
You're not the NFL. No, you're not the NFL. No.
We still got the Damian Lillard stuff going on. Listen, I do like watching Summer League. I like to see how some of these guys react when they come out and make their debut. And we did get a chance to watch Victor Wembanyama make his debut on the court. To say that his debut was underwhelming would be an overstatement, or not would not be an overstatement. Excuse me. He was not good. He was very shaky. To me, he looked timid, and obviously they said that he didn't know any of the offense. He came out. He looked very passive. He looked like he was getting bullied around. He gets posterized. There's a few situations. He does have some blocks in there in his debut, but to come out with 9 points when you're shooting 14 shots, not a great look. The jumper did not look very fluid at all. We've seen some highlight tapes here and there. Now he comes back out for his second game last night. Plays very well. 29 points. Pours in another, I think, 14 rebounds, couple assists, couple blocks as well too. Looks great. And now San Antonio shutting him down for the rest of it. He was more aggressive yesterday. I will give him that. I don't know how his game is going to completely translate when he's not playing these guys. Okay, when I say these guys, I'm talking about these same rookies that he's coming up with, the G Leaguers, people like that. He comes out in his debut. He's very timid. Obviously, it's a packed house. Plays much better in his second game, but I just don't know. I feel like San Antonio is going to have to create a role for him. He's not just a plug and play number one pick like Paolo kind of was, where you can just kind of run the offense through him, let him be a playmaker. He's not that type of a guy. I don't know what it's going to be like going forward. Did you see any? You didn't see any highlights? You saw nothing?
I saw the highlights of the media day when he was breaking shots left and right. I mean, but here we go again. The United States media. We have, how old is he? 19, 20,
something like that.
Let's just say 21 for argument's sake. You have a 21-year-old kid who's just coming to the prime of his life, and he has more expectations laid on his shoulder than any other person around him, including your king, your goat, LeBron James. So you don't think this kid's got more pressure than LeBron James?
No.
We'll just agree to disagree. So, as the number one pick and supposedly the best prospect since LeBron James, who obviously lived up to his number one prospect, they're talking about this kid could be as good, if not better, as far as an overall NBA prospect. I think that just puts too much pressure on him. Then, like I said, you have your media game where he goes and shoots around and, he pretty much just points everything. And then you have his very first summer, game, as you just said, and he doesn't perform well. And what do we do at the end of the game after somebody doesn't perform well? We're going to stick a microphone in his face, more than likely. I didn't see this. I didn't see any interviews, so I don't know. So we're going to stick a microphone in his face, and we're going to be like, hey, why didn't you suck tonight? And see what he says as far as that. I don't know. I said the same thing. I think that he could be an incredible talent, but he's going to take a few years to develop. As I said, the same thing for Connor Bedard. The same type of prospect, the same type of generational talent that we're supposed to presume that these kids are. Well, it takes some time. It takes some time to get acclimated to the league. And you're not even going against the best of the best right now. You're going with similar prospects and guys that are trying to make it. And guys that have been there. I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting. We've all talked about his size and the fact that he needs to put on more weight. I'm sure that was probably prevalent as well. And, he's going to have butterflies. It's a completely different league, But I think that if we've known anything, that we've seen people that come out of the European leagues over to the NBA, they usually work out pretty well, especially with this kind of stuff.
I mean, it's hit and miss. I mean, some of the guys work out very well. Some of the guys are Fran Vasquez, who Magic fans are still waiting to come over from Spain at this point, 12 years later. So, you never. I mean, listen, if you guys don't want Vooch, we're more than happy to bring him back here in Orlando and be a better team than you.
Otherwise, you would offer
that right now. No, we're good. We don't. I said the Magic will be a better team than you will this year anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So let's solidify that a little bit here.
Okay, what do you want to put on it?
What would you like to put on it? You won't like what I'm going to say.
What do you want to put on it?
What would be in your comfort zone here?
$100.
Okay, bet. $100.
Okay,
The
$100.
Bulls will be a better team than the
$100,
Orlando Magic.
$100. Jeremy, let's make sure we mark this down because I know you'll listen back to this after you have 4 beers and 3 fireballs tonight at the bar. You'll come back home. You'll be watching this.
Put it up on YouTube.
Let's just we should put it up there. Put it in the Discord. Let's make sure we
be broadcast live at that part.
Keep track of all of the bets that we make, and let's keep a tally and keep it moving. Anyway, moving on. I do want to shout out the Orlando Magic. I did get to watch their first game. I thought Anthony Black, who ran the point guard for the Magic, looked great. He was the number 6 pick that we took out of Arkansas. Really ran the show. And big shout out to TJ. TJ was the first one who put me on to him. I didn't watch a lot of college this year, admittedly, as I had said many times. But TJ, said I think the Magic take Black with the first pick, with the 6th pick, and I'm like, I just don't see it. He plays a very similar role as Markelle Fultz. I don't really know how that's going to fit. I watched him play body control. I think he's great. I think he pushes the tempo, keeps his head up. He looked great. He pours in 17 points, a bunch of dimes. Looked a lot better than Jet Howard. Jet Howard a little out of his element. We'll see what happens tonight when they come out. The other person who I watched, who I saw.
We're not putting all the draft picks off 2 summer league games, right?
What?
We're not putting all the marbles together off a couple summer league games, right?
I think you can watch the way a kid plays to start and be able to see confidence pretty easily. Is that Trump arriving down there in Mar-a-Lago, or is that
Secret Service? I don't know.
Yeah, Secret Service flying in over there.
Right, can't land here.
You're in Mar-a-Lago, right? Is that where you are right now?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Somewhere around there. We're not going to disclose Tyson's location of
pretty sure you said Fort Myers on the other
people coming down, but that's okay as well too. No, I really like the way that Anthony Black played. Jet Howard is going to be a little bit between. He's got to figure out a role. He didn't look comfortable. We'll see what happens tonight. They do play at 8:30 tonight again, so I will be checking out what the Magic do tonight as well too. So it should be interesting. Anything else you saw from the weekend that you enjoyed?
I was trying to think. No, I don't think I did.
Did you watch the Women's U.S. Open at all?
I did not. Actually, you put that in the group chat, and I turned it on, and I said, "Wow, that chick's kind of hot." And then I'm like, "No." Then I watched the golf, and I'm like, "No." I put baseball on.
Yeah, I mean, both were good. The John Deere obviously happens, and was it Straka? Who won?
It was terrible. Terrible team.
Anyway, guy had a chance to shoot. He could have shot under 59. He kind of fumbled the bag at the very end, ends up coming through, winning anyway. So shout out. I did watch most of the U.S. Women's Open. It was at Pebble Beach, and I'm of the opinion after watching this, I loved it. I loved watching it. And I think one of the things that I love about watching it is that I know the holes. Right? We've watched Pebble. It's an iconic course. You've watched it so many times that you're into how they're going to play this hole. You remember how another person played it. This is the first time the women's
like 150 yards shorter.
This is the first time the Women's U.S. Open has played. Yeah, of course they are. This is the first time the Women's U.S. Open has played. But I think to drum up more interest, right? More.
But you also like the WNBA.
I respect women's basketball. I do.
You like watching it.
The skill that they have. I don't watch it. I can't lie. I don't really watch it too much. I do want to give a big shout out though. Kelsey Plum last night for the Las Vegas Aces poured in 40 points, shot 74% from the field. First time in WNBA or in Aces history that anybody has shot that well from the field on that many shots and poured in 40. Shout out Kelsey Plum.
You are
good
so lucky that I'm on the road and don't have this script because there's no way in hell this would be happening right now.
But this is my argument. This is all I want to say. Now, obviously, I'm sure we're going to get the ratings back, and I'll talk to the boys about this on Wednesday, about getting the ratings back and how it was viewed. But I think playing at Pebble Beach, right, you play at a course that's in prime time as well, too. You get the audience that might not always be watching it to tune in a little bit. I think this is a beautiful formula for the women when it comes to the LPGA Tour. A lot of times they play on these courses and these tournaments that we don't really care about. But could you imagine if the same stops, we got to see the same stops the women play. Regardless, yes, maybe it's 100 yards closer in than where the men are hitting from.
You trying to
I
get the
don't
women
care
to
about
play at
that.
Augusta. Is that what you're trying to do? The women's Masters?
There's already some kind of a women's tournament there. What I'm saying is that I'd like to see the women play like Bay Hill, the Sony Open, TPC Sawgrass, like these other courses that are iconic courses that we've watched so much because of the championships that have been played there, to where we can relate to the course. Because
So why don't you
where
think
the
they do
women
that
are
now?
where the women are playing from, in my opinion, is where most amateurs should be playing from. Right? Most people who hit the ball 240, 250 yards, that's probably around the same yardage wise as where you should be playing the ball.
So what you're
it's
saying
more
is you should be
relatable
playing from the
golf
ladies'
wise.
tees. You should be playing from the ladies' tees.
First of all, they're not ladies' tees anymore; they're forward tees. So I don't know if did
They're
you watch
ladies'
that
tees. They're
that
ladies' tees.
that woke golfer thing that I sent to the group?
No, I
It was
don't know.
actually
You guys
it was
did so
actually
much shit.
hilarious.
So basically, what
so-
I got out of that is that you like watching this because you feel like those are the tees that you should be playing from. Therefore, these are the approaches and angles that you should be taking as well. So therefore, you can relate to it.
I think there's a more relatable approach. Absolutely. I mean, listen, if you're telling me would I rather watch a women's golf tournament being played at Bay Hill or the Masters or TPC Sawgrass or one of these iconic courses that we watch, the Austin Country Club that hosts the match play that doesn't have it anymore, that we love and we remember all those holes and the way they're played, right? If you were to take that and set them in that setting, yes, I'd rather watch that than watching live golf in London.
Whoa,
or
here
watching,
we go.
or
Now
watching.
we're taking cheap shots at live. We're not taking cheap shots.
Can I finish?
Stick to your original argument.
Can I finish?
Stick to your original argument.
I would rather watch that than watch live golf in London or Seb Straka shooting 61 on Sunday at the John Deere Classic, which I could care less about.
I think
That's
I
my
could care
take.
less about either one. To be perfectly honest with you.
But-
I mean, live golf to me is I don't understand it. I've always been
Yeah.
behind as far as that's what they want to do. And I think it's going to be a pretty good party atmosphere if you go to there to watch it. But to watch live golf on TV, I feel like that's just like kind of like watching baseball or tennis or pickleball. No.
Well, and here's the
Not
thing.
even pickleball. I feel like you have to be there, right? Like,
Yeah.
a baseball game in person is amazing. Hockey game in person is amazing. Now, it's the
Unreal.
hockey playoffs on television. The playoffs on television will take care of themselves. There's no take
Yeah.
away from that. The normal hockey game is kind of, because it's not as high flying, it's not as fast or anything of that nature. But when you're at the hockey game, it's absolutely wonderful. Same thing with baseball, especially with the changes they made. You add a baseball game now, it's a completely immersive experience. It's different than watching on television, which is like watching paint dry. So, yes, to your point and to your kudos, I think that would be a great format and a great target for the LPGA to play some of these courses. Now, I do feel like, though, there's a reason why they're not.
Yeah, but which I don't understand. And I feel like they're so separated from the actual PGA Tour in itself. Like I feel like it's like just
it's different.
but
I think they want that, and I think that you might have answered your own question just by saying that. I think that they might want that separation because they don't want to go to a course that the PGA just shot a combined 21 under for 4 rounds, and then the ladies go there, and they're going to be compared to similar scores or similar stuff. I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, but that would be the only reason why I would feel like that wouldn't happen as far as them playing on the same course. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah, because I feel like there could be more integration. And I do remember back when Annika Sorenstam was just lighting the road on fire and was really one of the pioneers. Dottie Pepper. Who was what was the bigger girl from England? Oh, I forget her name. Amazing. Anyway, all of them. Listen, I just feel like there should be more integration between the two of them, in my personal humble opinion. And it's weird to me that there's not. I would almost encourage them. We've seen what Liv has done with team formats. Okay. Maybe we get a team format where you add a woman to the rotation, right? Let's say you have
the play with the PGA.
Yeah, just like you have like some one-off tournaments where you might have, let's say,
going down a rabbit hole, bro.
An LPGA player, a DP World Tour player, and a PGA Tour player. And
how are you not going to have Liv? You're not going to have Liv. They're all together now.
Well, what I'm saying is Liv is going to integrate into the PGA Tour.
We don't know that.
In a couple of years, it will.
We don't know that.
Anyway, just a rabbit hole that I went down and I was thinking about, and I didn't understand. Well, I didn't understand why, and maybe the boys can clarify for us on Wednesday. Make sure to tune in on Wednesday, the Uninformed Fan, as we do have the Open Championship coming up as well too, as we get a nice preview going forward as well for that. So
good question. Like I said, I would have to think that there's a reason. It probably revolves around money. I'll be perfectly honest with you. To shut those courses down, those big signature courses, for essentially the entire week, is probably more money than the LPGA can afford. I think that, yeah. Think about shutting down Bethpage Black for a week and a half.
Well, we were talking about this too. So supposedly it's more expensive to play TPC Sawgrass than it is to play Pebble Beach.
I remember when I looked at Pebble Beach some years ago, it was about $650 a round. I don't know what it is now, but I do believe
it's around $550 and TPC is $600.
I think that just goes to show you that I think that Pebble Beach has just gone down that much. I don't know. Public. I don't know.
If you gave me a choice of playing Pebble Beach or playing, I guess, any other golf course in the country, I'd always choose Pebble Beach because I've never had a chance to play it. I grew up learning it on video games. Never got a chance to actually. No. But I feel like there's so many iconic holes on Pebble Beach that I remember. Where as opposed to TPC Sawgrass, I feel like you have the last five.
And again, I'm not going to go out and say this because this is no knowledge for me or not, but I'm going to say that the TPC Sawgrass experience is more luxurious versus Pebble Beach being more of standard run-of-the-mill public course with a caddy, maybe a store caddy, probably not even a real caddy.
Yeah.
Which I did have the pleasure of dealing with that in Medina Country Club. Shout out to Steve Kemp. I appreciate you, my man.
Medina, huh?
He got us on Medina right before the Ryder Cup was played. Right. Also, Eagle par 4. To me, thank you very much.
Drive the green or knocked it in?
Fairway, from the fairway, bro.
No, nice.
The fairway. This is back when I was good. So, it is what it is. But I think to your point, as far as this goes, I think that it's probably money. That's what I'm going to go with. I think it's going to be millions of dollars to shut these courses down for this time frame. And then, I just think that that's what it is. Find out. I don't know.
Live Golf steps up and throws the LPGA some money. Let's see the Saudi fund maybe make some reparations here for
here we go.
The egregious laws that they have over there in Saudi.
Here we go. And to your point right there, it's why should when you have these women and I don't know what the percentages are, if the percentages or whatever, but you have women banging on their chest saying equal pay, we don't get paid equal. And this has recently come up again. I saw on a podcast in regards to the WNBA. And the WNBA is completely subsidized by the NBA, which every WNBA team loses money, right? And when your model loses money, just be happy you have a model. Because if it was any other corporation or any other business, it would be closed. It would be closed. That's it. The only reason why they're keeping this afloat is because they want something for women.
LPGA makes money, I gotta say.
I'm not saying that they don't. When you're talking about the PGA Tour should subsidize them or something, if you can't stand on your own merit and you can't draw enough fans to your own product, there should be no subsidizing whatsoever. And it goes for men's sports as well. If men's cricket in the United States doesn't take off, you know what? Then it shouldn't be a sport in the United States.
I'd be interested to see the numbers on Wednesday. Now, I think the numbers don't come out till tomorrow. The numbers of what the U.S. Women's Open pulled in. I think it'd be very interesting to see.
I guess we'll see it. I don't know.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
So we got a little long ball tonight.
A little long ball tonight. Yeah. Midway part. Well, not really the midway part of the MLB season, but we're somewhere around in that area.
I'm sorry. Before we get to this, and because you just started about mid-season, the NBA finalized the mid-season tournament.
Yeah.
And let me guess, you're happy about this.
Love it.
So we had to create a mid-season tournament because NBA players don't give a shit about regular season games. So in order to keep them energetic and focused while they're making $50-60 million a year. We had to create another tournament to keep them focused throughout the year.
You can be upset by pocket watching them and worried about the money that they're making. But I'll say this: I think from the NBA, it's a brilliant move that they did, because what you do is you're not playing any more games than you would already, pretty much, right? So you're going to play pool play. The pool play that you play in your bracket is going to be counted as the same regular season games that you would play against those teams. And then based off of what happens in bracket play, you move on, right? So if you win that bracket, then you move on to a separate tournament, okay? But everything else is just the exact same. You're not adding any more games to anything. You're not doing anything like that. So I'm all
the
for it.
players give a shit about this. If you win this tournament, what do you get? Let me guess. A bonus.
Yeah, you get cash. I mean, I think players will care more about pride, though. It does bring in a pride aspect as well, too. It's why you see
these guys are playing for
fourth
pride?
quarter. You think the fourth quarter of the All-Star game? Why do you think it's more competitive the fourth quarter of the All-Star game than any of the other times?
Do you think these guys are playing for pride?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk some long ball then.
Let's talk some long ball.
So tonight we have the home run derby, right? We got the All-Star break, and we are going to get into a little bit on Wednesday. As far actually, I think on Wednesday, because we're not going to do the Friday show. So we are going to go into a little of our MLB mid-major breakdown as far as the dark horses of the National League. You know, who's really good, who's going to make a few trades away, what pitchers are going. We're going to break all that down. But this week we have the home run derby and the All-Star game, which we all know the American League has completely dominated the All-Star game over the past 15 years. I'm just throwing that number out because it could be longer than that. Could be shorter than that. I don't know. I'm just going to say 15 years. But, you know, I'm going to reel it into 10. Let's say the last 10 years, the American League has just completely dominated this game. Okay. We'll talk about a little bit of long ball to start with. And we've got quite a lineup, as I just saw over here, in regards to who is playing the long ball. Now, we don't get the Ohtani, which I know that you were looking forward to. But we do have Lewis Robert Jr. from the White Sox, Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles, Pete Alonso from the Mets, Julio Rodriguez. Where's he from?
Seattle.
Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, Vlad from the Toronto Blue Jays, Adolis Garcia from...
Garcia is White Sox, I believe.
2 White Sox players?
I believe there's 2 White Sox players, yeah.
Really?
Oh, sorry. Garcia was on the White Sox. He's on the Texas Rangers now. First year with the Rangers.
And then Arizona Arena from the Tampa Bay Rays. Randy. Now, somebody that has Lewis Robert Jr. on one of his fantasy teams, I can tell you this man is a home run machine. He has absolutely just gone pop over the past couple of weeks. He's really lit it up. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that man has put up some numbers. I'm really interested in that matchup because Adley Rutschman is no joke, as we've seen from our uninformed fan baseball roster that we've had. So
yeah,
it'll be a very, very initial crucial matchup as far as I think that, you know, definitely one of those two could definitely win it. What do you think about that matchup?
Give me Rutschman.
Oh, going over the okay. Give me Robert.
Yeah, the reason is just because it's Lewis Robert. I mean, it's his first home run derby. You know, I know it probably doesn't matter, but it is different with the cage not around you as well too. I don't know. I like the lefty. Give me Rutschman.
You like the lefty. And Buffington and Ian, I apologize. I have a little bit of a skeleton set up here. I just saw the comments on here. I appreciate you guys dropping in and showing up. And Ian, yes, basketball season is over. I promise to never talk about it again until tip-off. And if Jeffrey brings it up, I will swiftly kick him in. So next up, we have Pete Alonso, former Gator, versus Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Now,
I've
watched a little bit of Pete this year. I've seen some really, really monster swings out of Pete. I've seen some really shitty swings out of Pete. The good thing about this is this isn't batting practice. This isn't a curveball. This isn't a moving fastball, nor is this a slider. This is a money ball down the middle. And this man has power. We've seen it throughout college. We've seen it throughout his rookie season as he continues to demolish on the Mets. Could be Pete.
Unfortunately, I have Julio Rodriguez to win the whole thing. It is in Seattle. He is at home. Now, I will say this. A lot of times this does not work out, right? You think the hometown guy is going to come out, put up big numbers, yada, yada, yada. I know Tyson is picking Pete Alonso because he's a Gator. The thing is that Pete Alonso is not a great baseball player, but he is a really good home run hitter, right? He rakes in home run derbies. And so this is just a terrible draw for Julio Rodriguez.
He's not a good baseball player.
Okay. He's a great baseball player. He's not the tenacity and ferociousness that he attacks the ball in home run derbies is not the same as what he attacks.
Well, correct. Because you're not
in the regular season.
Unless you're going against Kyle Hendricks, who happens to throw one of his juice balls right down the middle. You're not getting these pitches in Major League Baseball. So, of course, he is. But I do believe if you look at Pete Alonso's stats throughout this year, you will find his home run there with the best of them.
He got 26 home runs. That's fair. He's doing
and
pretty well this year.
And what is leading the league? 32.
I don't have the number in front of me, Tyson.
Damn it, Jeremy.
Neither here nor there, and I really couldn't care less. But
well, I think you should care less when you're talking about a man who is not a good baseball player.
I don't think he's great. I think he's a really good home run hitter. I'm a realist.
Gator hater.
I'm not. Listen, I'm very excited. MLB draft. Braves just drafted the Gator pitcher in the first round. So I'm excited for him. He's got a nasty split finger fastball. I think he's going to be great for us. So looking forward to getting him in the farm system.
Can't believe how fast
they can
throw that level. How fast they throw that level.
It's unreal.
Yeah. Crazy how fast it comes out of their hands.
So all right, so you got Alonso, I got Rodriguez. We're again split. Here we are.
So next we have Mookie Betts versus Vlad.
Yeah. Interesting one.
That is actually a very interesting one. Give me Vlad.
Give me Mookie.
See, I knew it. I knew you were going to take Mookie. That's why I'm taking Vlad. I want to be on the opposite every single way down the road here, and I think that's great.
I think Mookie's just going to stuff him into the left field corner over and over and over again.
You're talking about Vlad. It's very, very streaky, and talk about hitting for power. Mookie, it's just he's either juiced up or ready to go with super power on with that A toggle ready to go, or he's ground ball central. So that's why I'm going Vlad. Vlad is just a pure pork rind, ready to just give me a little bat, give me a little ball, let me mash it up there. Stick this pork rind a little, crunch down in my belly, give it to me. Love
me. Give me Mookie. I think that's smooth swinging Mookie. The only thing that does concern me here is the fact of the matter is that a lot of these guys who can hit the ball everywhere, all around the park, it's tougher. If you watch guys in the past, Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., they don't perform as well because they hit the ball at every field. So if the ball's outside, they're not trying to pull off of it. I mean, whatever. The guys who hit for average
Braves that can hit sluggos thrown down the middle because they're so good with their off-field power that they have to pull everything. Because, I feel sorry for them. I really do.
Pete Alonso,
really sorry for them.
Pete Alonso ain't hitting the ball to right field and hitting home runs. I'll tell you that right now.
Pete Alonso hits the ball wherever the fuck he wants and he goes up and shouts. How about that?
He does not hit the ball wherever he wants. He hits the ball in one place, that's to left center. From center field.
Can we get Pete Alonso's home run chart, please? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the spray chart. You'll see it. Yeah. You'll see it tonight. Mark my words.
You're going to see it tonight when he's being thrown lob balls. Pushing one to the opposite way off a lob ball.
Freddie Freeman and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh, God. It's so
oppressed. True professional sports organization. It's just tougher. I'm just saying it's tougher. It's tougher.
It's a Braves bias right here. So, because their players are so good that this contest does not sit up for them. And then the last matchup we have is Adolis Garcia versus Randy Rosarina.
Yeah.
No, really either one of these guys, but I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay, the hometown team. I'm going to go with Randy.
I will take Garcia. I know he's number 4, but I think he's actually the underdog here, in my opinion. Be interesting to see. Rosarina's got the the Flash, the subs. You know what I mean? Like we saw him World Baseball Classic, all over the place. Give me Garcia though. I like Garcia.
Yeah, whatever. So we are completely opposite on every single bracket. Absolutely.
All right, so then go forward with it. Who do you got winning between what you have? Luis Robert Jr. and Randy Arozarena. Who do you have between those
Vlad. Me versus Vlad, right?
No, one would go against 4 and 5.
Why wouldn't one go against 6?
Well, you have Vlad, which would be 3 anyway.
Well, Vlad would be 6 that would beat 3.
I don't think it gets re-bracketed. I don't think they redraw based off who the lowest seed is. I think it's just.
I apologize. I should have prefaced this. Due to my limited capabilities here and limited screen space, I'm just looking on the score app where it doesn't give me the bracket. It just says.
All right, yeah. So Luis Robert Jr. and Adley Rutschman is the 1-8 matchup, and then they would face the 4-5 matchup of Garcia and Arozarena. So you would have Luis.
Give me Robert Jr. again.
Robert Jr. again moves on. Between Rutschman and Garcia, give me Rutschman. I like Adley moving on as the sleeper, moving on there. Now, going forward, you would have Vlad Guerrero Jr. against Pete Alonso. Who do you like in that matchup?
Ooh, man. You know what? Here's my reasoning on this. I think Pete Alonso is going to go so hard in round 1, he's going to exhaust himself for round 2. And I think Vlad has the upper hand here, but can't do it. Go Gators. Give me Pete Alonso no matter what.
So I have Mookie Betts versus Julio Rodriguez in this matchup, and give me Julio Rodriguez over Mookie Betts right here, the hometown favorite, moving on to the final where he will take on Adley Rutschman and defeat Adley Rutschman. Julio Rodriguez wins the home run derby this evening. Who do you got? You have
Robert Jr.
versus Robert Jr. I mean,
sorry,
stick with your guns, kid. No way.
I can't. I've watched too much of Luis Robert Jr. this year. If this man is on, there is nobody that's going to touch him.
Right.
And I think that Adley Rutschman is going to choke a little bit in the first round. I think it's going to give Luis Robert a little bit of a reprieve here, and I think Pete Alonso is going to have a lot on him on the second. I just, give me Luis Robert Jr. I'm going to go with the number 1 seed, and unfortunately, I hate picking number 1 seeds. But again, as somebody that drafted him out of fantasy baseball, I've seen what he's capable of with live pitching. I'm really excited to what he's going to see when lob balls start throwing.
I do want to say one of the reasons that I do want to take Julio Rodriguez is, obviously the hometown kid, and he's been amazing. He's a generational talent, one of the great sluggers of our era. But also being in Seattle, it's really cool as well. Obviously, the park they're playing at is pretty much the park that Junior built. And shout out to King Griffey Jr. I do want to say that he did so much for the city of Seattle in terms of just baseball wise, but also growing the game there as well too. Obviously, he's a 3-time winner, which if Alonso wins, will join the ranks of King Griffey Jr. as the greatest home run derby hitter of all time, which Griffey has right now. I was watching this story about him.
You know what? I did not know that. Ooh, that spices it up for that.
You can change your pick if you want to. I'll let you switch back to Alonso if you want. Tying up Junior for 3 in Seattle.
I'm still going Robert.
Interesting feat. So, but just want to give a big shout out to Griff. Griff, the way Griffey played the game, he kind of dominated at least my generation. The backwards fitted hat, the earring. Everybody wanted to emulate Griffey's swing. Truly one of the iconic people, and to me, my favorite, greatest baseball player of all time. In my
Did you hear the story about why he wears his hat backwards?
No.
There's actually a reason for this.
I think I heard this, but go ahead and tell it.
And I don't know if I'm going to tell it 100% right, but whenever he wore his hat forward, he had such a big head or something, it looked stupid on him, basically, is what he was saying. So he turned the hat backwards because it like or something.
It was probably
we'll look at the story to make sure that we get right for Wednesday.
Well, yeah, go ahead. if you want to
It was
finish. I was
definitely
just gonna,
something when he was wearing it forward. It was something to where it either affected him or it looked stupid or the bill didn't sit or something of that nature. So he just flipped it backwards, and all of a sudden that became his thing.
so
Became
yeah, you could probably say too that it's probably when you're a little kid, right? And they only have fitted hats in like the one size, because his dad played professional
first of all,
ball.
little
So
league kids aren't getting fitted hats.
right, I'm saying him being at the ballpark with his dad being a professional baseball player, that probably had something to do with it, right? He's trying to put the hat on, the fitted hat on, the smallest one they have, and it's too big on him or whatever. But
We'll
shout
try
out
to
to
figure that
Griffey.
out for. We'll try to figure that out for. Yeah, what an amazing player, huh?
Unreal, dude.
We don't.
The
I
kid,
mean,
bro.
yeah, we don't get those kind of players anymore.
And,
Regardless.
and he did it in an era where everybody took shortcuts,
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to discredit the other players.
I'm not going to discredit them at all, not at all. But I'm saying like
But
we
you
know, but we know that Griff didn't do that.
We don't know that.
So you think that Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, home run hitting wise, like I'm not going to mention Barry Bonds because Barry Bonds was probably the greatest hitter of all time without having to take steroids, and he did take steroids.
But he never got caught.
Okay, but do you hold Griffey in a higher light than you do people like Bonds or
No.
Bonds or Clemens or McGwire? Anybody? No.
No.
Oh.
Well, first of all, I'm pro steroids anyway. I was just saying when to do stuff. And you might as well throw.
We talked about this.
You might as well throw Alex Rodriguez in there as well.
Yeah, A-Rod as well. Yep.
They had that so down pat to where when you went for a piss test, as long as you did the first part of your stream in the cup or the very last part of the stream in your cup, it would test negative. They had it down that good. So I'm not saying Griffey did. I'm not saying he did. I can say I could care less. I don't want to speculate or anything. He just had one of the purest swings. One of the greatest baseball players that I've ever seen. And, I put him up there, regardless of what you think about McGwire or Sosa, the things that they did on the field. And, I can say that McGwire or Sosa single-handedly saved baseball.
Griffey was up there in that era too, though. He was part of it.
Correct. But I'm telling you, because the lockout and the deep despair that baseball went into, the lack of everything, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire brought that back with the home run derby. So regardless of how, and I said home run derby, I'm not talking about the actual home. I'm talking about the season they had that felt like a home run derby between the two, and that brought everybody back. It was the long ball. It was the oohs, the ahs that brought everybody back to baseball. So what? Regardless of what you think about what they did, they single-handedly saved the game at the time. So whether you want to talk about purists, you want to talk about what Babe Ruth did and who did he play against, all that stuff. I think Ken Griffey is one of the greatest to play the game. A lot of respect for him. When we talk about steroids, we talk about that area. Everybody else that was doing it, we don't really know any. We haven't even touched the surface, bro. I think if there was 20 players that got caught, there was 200 players that were doing it. So that's just my thought on it.
We'll move on. So last thing I wanted to bring up, just breaking news right now, just came across my desk live here in the Uninformed Fan. I know you read a little bit into this, but Pat Fitzgerald fired at Northwestern amid the hazing allegations and everything that went on. I know you had said you didn't see anything about it, and then you kind of brushed up a little bit on it. If you wanted to talk,
brush up on anything yet. I'm looking at it right now.
No.
So you want to give the
original. I thought you were talking about the original. What happened with everything? And
I didn't know anything, but I am looking at the story right now. So if you want to kind of give the back story.
I mean, so basically, hazing allegations came down. Some different things. They suspended Pat Fitzgerald for 2 weeks in the middle of the season. A couple accusations from former players on improper dealings and different things like that happened within the football program. Then a bombshell drops about these hazing incidents that were going on, and
sexual hazings.
Yes, and all of a sudden Northwestern revisited it and has now decided to let Pat Fitzgerald go. And I know you're somebody from up in that way, up in Illinois country, and Northwestern is obviously a huge entity up there as well from Chicago. But it's very interesting, and I know it's probably the decision was not made lightly. Considering the fact that Pat Fitzgerald was a a player there. Somebody who had brought Northwestern to relevance as well too. The way that they played the game was amazing. But man, some of these things, like they talk about the fact that Pat Fitzgerald said that he had no idea what was going on, and you can't say that. You are the head coach of the football program. You are the CEO. And so, yes, if things are going on, maybe you didn't know about them, but everything has to be within your purview. That's part of the reason that you're there. If you look at, let's say even going back to Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky, right? And Paterno, listen, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what, Jerry was doing or blah, blah, blah. These are situations where you have to be held accountable. And it's never okay. I remember being a pledge at Florida State for a fraternity, and I will not name the fraternity, but there was always a weird thing where when you were going through and you were getting, bids to go to this fraternity or that fraternity or whatever, you had to kind of do your research, because a lot of these fraternities that you go into, there's a lot of things that are sexual and are not okay that you have to do. Now, they could go from running into a sorority butt naked while the whole sorority is having dinner to elephant walks through the quad at a certain time of night, and I won't tell you what an elephant walk is. You can look that up if you'd like to.
You won't tell me?
No.
What's an elephant walk?
An elephant walk?
What's an elephant walk?
So basically everybody is naked.
Everybody? Like an elephant herd?
The whole line of elephants. Okay. And you have to reach up and grab the nostril of the elephant in front of you, basically. And you all walk in a line. Yes. You all walk in a line.
You have to hold the dick of the guy in front of
you? Yep. And you all walk in a line.
Bro, that's gay.
Whatever it is, it's sexual miscontact misconduct that should not be tolerated whatsoever at all. And a lot of these allegations that are coming through are kind of, I don't want to say similar, but there's some things being said that are not okay. But like I said, when you went through, it was almost like recruiting, right? You had pledge week. You went through, these fraternities are recruiting you. Listen, you want to be a part of this? We pull the best chicks. We throw these parties. We do this, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to recruit you to be in their thing. But just like recruiting, you have to kind of look at the underlying laying of everything as well, too, and know what you're getting into. Pat Fitzgerald, getting fired, I guess that's due diligence for Northwestern. We'll see where that program goes going from here. What did you read up on it or find from our friends over there at ESPN?
So they made them to naked bear crawls, naked sprints, and naked something else.
This is what you see when you talk about people who have a lack of institutional control. This is what it is about. It is about not knowing what is going on within your walls. You're not controlling what's going on.
I don't know if I'm going to say that. I do. From this article, right? It's a tradition at Northwestern, right? So I'm not saying when it started or when it ended. But
who said it was a tradition?
That's just what I saw in the artiple.
Yeah. No, I know.
So, and I think I saw this. So this was a player from 2006. I think it's I'll say that sports is a very weird place sometimes, and I don't think I would feel comfortable ever doing something like this. But I remember when the Chicago Blackhawks story broke and the sexual misconduct that was confirmed with her there. And I said to my cousin, I said, how does a grown man get sexually assaulted by another man? This is sexually assaulted. What we're talking about here is not necessarily assault. It's being put naked in an uncomfortable position, which is also very uncomfortable, but not to this degree. And he talked about when because he coaches a couple teams, whether little league or middle school, all this. And he was talking about, well, it's not so much about the fact of of saying no. It's the fact of this guy's telling you, if you don't do this, I will wreck your whole career. like you'll never play another line in your life. Like I will make sure that you are. And I think that's what some of these kids are facing and stuff like this. Like if you don't do this, make it fair. You're off the team. Your scholarship's gone.
Well, those people need to be prosecuted who are the ones who are telling them they have to do these things to the fullest extent of the law, in my opinion.
It's kind of nuts to me to think. Now I don't know if this is still going on, but from what I was hearing the reason why it wouldn't be. But to me, 2023, when you know that the everything is trying, if you want to call it woke or if you want to call it eyes open type of politics, you're not going to get away with this. We're not going to get away with this stuff anymore. It's still going on. The problem that these coaches had to have in order to get the balls, to be able to do this kind of stuff still, it's pretty fucking crazy. It's sick.
Yeah,
You
sick
know,
and sad.
there's ways to dehumanize a person for screwing up on a play or something like that. But to make somebody shout at their skivvies and stand in front of a crowd or whatever is the ultimate humiliation.
Mhm.
We've seen it on Game of Thrones, the shame walk, right? Walking down,
Oh, the
letting
walk
people
of shame.
letting people see you. You know,
Shame.
shame. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing here. You screwed up on the play, strip your clothes off, and bear crawl all the way to the 50-yard line at time. I mean, I get the message. What you're trying to do. But why don't you ever want to see your kid naked anyway?
Much better ways to go. Much better ways to take care of it.
This is all true. You're right. They should play house and start over. I can care less where the program goes. The only people that are going to get hurt by this are kids.
Yep.
Because the coach is still already is a millionaire, right? He's already made his millions.
Cash that check.
Regardless if he gets terminated without his contract being fulfilled or anything of that nature, he's still got M's in the bank. Now you know, that have signed to a program that are going to go through a complete rebuild. There's people that they don't know. And I think that's probably why a lot of these kids don't report this type of stuff, honestly. That's pretty sick.
You know what's crazy? So, and just to go back, you were talking about the walk of shame on Game of Thrones that you had as well, too. You know the lady who's doing the shame, right? Ringing the bell the whole time?
I don't know her personally.
Do you know what role she plays, though?
No. On Game of Thrones?
Well, not on Game of Thrones. She's in a different show.
No.
You ever watch Ted Lasso?
I haven't watched hers.
But you have watched Ted Lasso. She is Rebecca. She is the owner of the team who divorced the guy. She is the exact same. She is the exact same person who did shame and followed her the entire way with the thing on. So I wanted to finish the episode on a lighter note as well too. After we had a great one and kind of brought it down a little bit as well. But shout out to our great actress as well too. Absolutely amazing. But I can't wait. We're about 30 minutes out of the Derby right now. Obviously, if you guys want to tail our picks, I got some upsets going on. Tyson, you sure you don't want to take Pete Alonso to finish up?
Nah, I'm still. As much of a Gator as I love him, I still have I have Robert Jr. on my team, and when you're on my team, it's part of me. And that's just the way it is, guys. When you get drafted from my fantasy team, I'm in the trenches with you. I'm taking the bullets. I'm doing whatever it takes to be there with you. So yes, I'm riding with you, Junior. Not because you're the number one seed, because you're on Golden Showers.
Still have a team name?
My other league.
That was from Golden Tate. How many years ago?
Bro, Golden Showers never goes out of style.
It does in 2023, I will tell you that. All right.
No, it's accepted now.
It was fun.
Everybody, thanks a lot for joining in on this special Monday night episode. We'll be back live here on Wednesday. Same spot, same location. We're going to break down the British Open.
Are you still there? Are you still there on Wednesday?
I am still here on Wednesday. I absolutely am. Feel a little bit more prepared. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know.
Whatever.
We'll probably
Who cares?
lead it up again.
We'll
talk about the Derby, and the game isn't until Wednesday night.
Tuesday.
Is it tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. So you got tonight Derby, tomorrow game, and then they're off Wednesday, Thursday.
We are in
and
the
back
dark,
on Friday.
dark,
So
dark days right now, guys. These are the only time when there's no major professional sports these days. Mondays
listen,
through Thursdays.
we got WNBA on, we got Summer League
No.
on. Listen, if you
Guys.
want to talk sports, just hit my phone. You know, all my boy, you got it. You know, we're here for it. We'll chop it up. Don't
If
worry.
you guys want to talk women's sports, absolutely hit up Jeffrey. Do not pepper me. Do not call me. Do not tag me. Do not bring me up on anything unless it's something super funny. Otherwise, have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. We'll be back
Be
on
great.
Wednesday. Talk to you then. Everybody have a great
Later.